Hey y'all, so we ain't had no sightseeing chit chat in a while. Let's change that. One of the comments that I tend to see most often is, why is it so hard to make friends in Second Life, or how do you make friends in Second Life? Now, what I do want to talk about first is that real life and Second Life hold many parallels, and much like real life, looks absolutely matter. Now, in the words of Nene, I'm going to hold your hand with a napkin in between when I tell you nobody's going to want to be your friend if your avatar is looking crazy. You know, I said it. And that is absolutely the truth. People spend a lot of time and a lot of effort on their avatars, and they're not interested in hanging out with you if you have not. Now, you can feel how you want to feel about it. Is Second Life that vain? Yeah, just like real life. Because why? Because Second Life and real life share parallels. I do feel like people don't like to admit that Second Life and real life are very closely knit. A lot of people do live vicariously through their avatars. However, there are also people that live just simply differently, where they're not living vicariously through their avatars, but they are actually creating a second life via their avatar. And regardless of how they're living through their avatar, or why they're living through their avatar, or how they choose to have their second life, one thing for sure, two things for certain, they spend a lot of time making their avatar look a very specific way, and they're not interested in befriending someone who has not. In that matter, it is pretty equivalent to making sure that you're befriending somebody that's quote unquote on your level. And that's just the thing about it. Now, another thing that's really important when it comes to wanting to make friends in Second Life is age. Now, there are different levels to ages in Second Life, but I want to specifically talk about, first and foremost, the age of your avatar. One thing that people are very skeptical of in Second Life is the age of your avatar. The age of your avatar and your intelligence being aligned with the age of your avatar when it comes to Second Life, they very much so coexist. Now, one thing that we do know is there's a lot of trickery going on in Second Life. So being 1 day old with payment info on file, and you talk very well and you move very well and you kind of know a little bit too much, in our opinion, it lets us know one of two things. One, this ain't your first rodeo, or two, you're probably an alt account. Now, there's nothing wrong with having an alt account. However, people do tend to get a little tricky with their alt accounts, and people don't really like that. So people who are seasoned in Second Life, they know these things, and so they do tend to shy away from them, because it's like, if you're getting in my box and I don't know you from a can of paint, but you're getting in my box and you're talking like somebody that's been here already, yeah, we get a little skeptical, okay? So after you read between the lines, let your avatar sit for a bit before you go ahead and start making friends, you actually now need to think about actual age. Now, the fortunate slash unfortunate part about Second Life is that most of the avatars have a very youthful look about them. Now, you can age your avatar a little bit, but for the most part, you know, everybody be looking like this, you know, very shapely, very in shape, very plaid. Now, you can have your avatar have any kind of whatever you want them to have, but for the most part, the base is very youthful, if you will. And with that understanding comes the caveat of needing discernment. Just because you see someone that might dress a certain type of way, or in what you would consider to be in a certain type of age group, that's definitely in Second Life not going to align with that person's actual age. Well, not all the time, at least. And this is why, in my opinion, I really feel like reading profiles is very, very important before you even decide to get in somebody's box to try to befriend them or speak to them at all. Now, another layer to age is there's a difference between the age that you are in real life and the age your avatar is, and those things do not need to coexist. It's very common for people to role play different age groups in Second Life, whether they be someone older or younger. And those are also things to keep in mind. So, you know, you might run into somebody who dresses like they're in their 20s, but they might be role playing somebody in their teens. Or you might find someone with an older avatar that's actually playing someone that is their actual age. Or you may find someone that's not role playing the age in Second Life at all. And if you get in their box and you ask them what their age is, they'll actually tell you their real life age. Now, that would be someone like me. So they're different, different levels to the ages and different types of age play in Second Life. And for me and to me, I feel like that's what makes it that much more special, because people do come here to have different experiences that do tend to be an extension of their real lives, but at the same time, they'll make it a little different if they choose. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the types of friends that you can make in Second Life. Y'all know how I feel about this little cottage. Look at these little cats up top, super cute. Now, one thing that I will say is that when it comes to friends, a lot of times, I'm going to speak for me. My friends fall into different categories. That would be friends, associates, and business. Normally, I do believe, I choose to believe that in Second Life, people's friends list kind of split between business and actual friends, but maybe business, friends, and family type thing. Family roleplay is very big in Second Life. So you have to figure out where you want to fit in. For me, I consider myself more of an associate. I feel like to consider me a friend, you probably would think I'm a pretty flaky friend, I don't move in the way that typical friends would in Second Life, or real life for that matter. But my real life friends get me. Second Life, maybe not so much. But I don't take those chances because I know the way that I want to spend my Second Life. So I don't even play them types of games. I let people know, even when I get comments and people are like, oh, we should be friends. We can be friends. We can be friends, but understand that I'm an introvert and I move as such. And so I put that in my profile. It's another reason why I feel like profiles are so important in Second Life. It does give people a little bit of a glimpse about you before they even decide, or to help them decide if they even want to get in your box to try to be friends with you. Sometimes people just want help, and I don't think that's a bad thing at all. If you're one of those people that need help, I'm going to go ahead and post some links to a couple of videos that I have on some helpful tutorials if you just happen to be new to Second Life. You know what I'm saying? When wanting to be someone's friend, you have to figure out what type of friend you want to be. One thing is, it's very, very important to know who you're trying to befriend and understand the reasoning as to why you're trying to befriend them. Because let me tell you something, the people who have been in Second Life for quite some time, discernment, that's real high up on their list of things that they know how to do very well. So coming into someone's life in Second Life and wanting to be like a quote unquote fake ass friend, they're gonna sniff you out from a mile away, and it's not gonna end very well for you. I mean, at best, they just won't be your friend. At worst, they'll act like they're your friends, get a lot of information on you, and then tell all your business to any and everybody that you wouldn't want your business told to. And now once you get past the Second Life and real life parallels, the looks, the Second Life and real life age, and the types of friends, now you got to figure out, are you wanting to befriend someone to be just friends? In my opinion, one of the most special things about Second Life is that you really can forge friendships with people, and sometimes it can become more than that. Now, I can say from my own experiences, there have been times where you will befriend someone and, unbeknownst to you, it will blossom into something more than what it was initially expected to be. Now, there are also times where you will go into it with that in mind. And so that lends itself to, we about to people watch, that definitely lends itself to, are you wanting to befriend someone for specific reasons, or are you just like, let's just see where this goes? Okay, ma'am, now let me tell you something. I like your look. The beautiful thing about Second Life is that you get to decide why you are befriending someone. Now, you do need to know that if you are wanting to befriend someone because you're looking for a relationship, you definitely want to look in their profile and see if they're not already taken. Sometimes they are, but a lot of times people won't necessarily put that in their profile. So it's always great to ask, just to be on the safe side before you get yourself in positions where it's like, dang, I was really, trying to work myself up to this, but, this person is friends in a relationship, because sometimes, you might be able to work your way up to things like that, but at the same time, you do want to let somebody know ahead of time that that's something that you're interested in. People don't like trickery in Second Life, so don't try to be somebody's friend when you really want to be in a relationship. It's like, come out with that, but want to be in a friendship with them. Be like, okay, hey, this is what I'm looking for, but I want to start off as friends. I want to make sure that we're compatible in these areas before I decide that you're somebody that I actually want to date in Second Life, because dating in Second Life is a big damn deal. It's not something that people take very lightly. Now, we do know people, they experience their Second Life in many different ways, and there are things that are important to them that might not be important to you, and vice versa. So those are also things that would play a part in choosing who you decide to want to be in a relationship with. But firstly, knowing and having some type of understanding that you are looking for a relationship or you are not looking for a relationship in Second Life, starting off as friends, that's definitely going to be important. I've met people in Second Life who started off as friends, and they let me know that they were coming into the friendship wanting to see if it can blossom into something more, and if it was something that I was interested in, and I got the choice to choose whether or not that was something that I wanted to pursue. On the same note, I've had people that have come into my life in Second Life and wanted to be more than friends, but didn't play it that way. They played it as though they just wanted to be friends, and so I treated them like a friend only to find out that they want to be more than a friend, and it's very off-putting to me, because to go from a very friendly conversation to something a little bit more intimate, and that's not what I want, because that wasn't something that I ever wanted, but that person didn't check in with me. I feel like it does tend to sour the friendship, if you will, because it's like you had ulterior motives coming in and I didn't, and so that does still play into like that level of trickery. So I do feel like understanding why you wanted to be friends with somebody is just as important as all the other factors when it comes to becoming someone's friend. So piggybacking off of the idea of becoming friends with someone, knowing that you want to be more than just friends, that does extend itself to familial. Now, there will be times that you will become friends with someone and you will decide, you know what, I want to be in this person's family. I want to create a family with this person, whether it be creating a family through dating and your boyfriend and girlfriend, husband and wife, you create a family, or somebody that you might want to be your sister or brother. Now, there are different forms of familial relationships in Second Life. It is the actual like brother, sister, mom, dad, family unit type family, but it also can extend itself to a sisterhood or a brotherhood. So that's another thing that you have to, have understanding about. Just kind of know where you're wanting this friendship to go to, which direction you're open with friendships going to, and what you're actually looking for within the friendship. Now, one thing that I will say as a little side note, not a side note, when you decide that you want to be friends with someone in Second Life, understand that Second Life as a whole, it is, for lack of a better word, it is not a place for the financially strapped individual, if you will. You can finesse your way through Second Life with not as much finances. However, when you're having families and friendships and stuff like that, depending on who you choose to befriend, your finances are definitely going to come into play. Families and friends, understandably so, they tend to like to do a lot of activities together. Nothing wrong with that. It's family, it's friends. We want to chill out sometimes. Everything is not going to be free. They might want to go on a trip, or they might want to go out to eat, or they might want to do something that requires some funds. And so you definitely need to know that when you are befriending someone, pay attention to how they Second Life. Everybody doesn't Second Life the same. Some people Second Life on a budget. Some people do not Second Life on a budget. And so you must be aware of the person or people that you are befriending, and understand that alignment is something that is extremely important when it comes to befriending someone in Second Life. Even if it's somebody who you don't know what you want out of getting in their box, and but you're open to it becoming anything that it needs to become, you really need to pay attention to that person and how that person Second Lives, because you will get left behind if you cannot elevate to the level in which they are accustomed to, and they ain't wrong for that. Many times people don't like to talk about finances in Second Life and how it is very important to them. This looks so yummy, but I will. I'll speak for them. Money matters. Money definitely matters in Second Life, and depending on how you are spending your Second Life, it is really something that you cannot get around. You gonna need to have some type of coins up in here. Finances matter because fun matters to many people in Second Life, and fun ain't always gonna be free. So you always have to keep that in mind when you're coming into spaces wanting to befriend people in Second Life. There are people that spend a whole hell of a lot of money in Second Life because they can. And if you coming in and you befriending somebody and your money ain't flowing the way that it need to flow, and it's not flowing the way that their money is flowing, and you can't figure it out, that probably is not going to be the best friend for you. It just probably is not. Second Life is a very vain, financially fluid, exploratory, relationship riddled, all of the above type virtual world. And you either gonna get with it or you gonna get gone. And when I say get gone, I'm talking about being left behind in like friends or social circles or families due to finances or lack thereof. People in Second Life do not normally tend to stop what they're doing or how they spend their Second Life to accommodate you due to you not having the money to put in Second Life or not wanting to put money in Second Life. They ain't gonna do that. People like to shop and have fun, and everybody ain't gonna do it on a budget every single time. And I know it comes off as harsh and it sounds a little bit harsh, to say, but I'm really just being honest. Like, that's really, it's really a thing in Second Life. Like, not having money to move the way other people move is really a thing in Second Life. And there are even some people that would shame you for it. Not me, because I understand that people have different things going on in their lives. And so everybody can't put in Second Life the same amount of money, if any money at all. So I definitely understand that. But it's the vast majority in Second Life that they don't feel how I feel, they don't think how I think, and they say, oh, use a broke hoe, and I don't hang out with broke hoes, and it's a thing, and you just kind of gotta be like, okay, well, let me get my money up and then I'll come back. And they're like, yeah, you do that. And so befriending someone in Second Life is so much more than just pushing that button, saying hi, and thinking that you're gonna instantly become forever friends. It really is about understanding what you're doing and why you're doing it, and knowing that people don't take friends lightly in Second Life because they know how deep it can go. They know how extensive friendships can go and how relationships go. There are people who come to Second Life to meet people just because they wanted to go into real life, and they are successful. So it's not just becoming friends. There are people who meet their husbands and their wives because they became friends with someone and they had it in their minds that they wanted it to become more, and the person that they befriended was open to the idea. Like, real, true, genuine, lifelong connections are made. So no, people don't take becoming friends in Second Life lightly. It is a big damn deal, And so just hopping in someone's box and want to be their friend is very much so much more than that. So you have to really keep that in mind and understand that just like real life, you don't just hop in someone's box or come up to someone and say, hey, how you doing? I like your hair. And then you guys are just the bestest friends forever. Sometimes that does happen, but let us understand that that's not the norm. And so it's important to keep in mind that making friends on Second Life or in Second Life, it takes time just like it does in real life. Because why? The parallels in Second Life and real life are a thing.